Hi guys, it's Vesna here. Welcome to my channel. For today's video, I am flipping a planter. But before I get started, this video is a part of a challenge. It's the Flippin' Friday challenge hosted by Jamie from Border Bananas. If you haven't checked out her channels, please check them out. I'll provide them in the link below. She's got a DIY channel and a home channel. She's very talented, does great thrift flips, so make sure you check her out. I'll also have the playlist link in my description. There's going to be amazing creators, so if you're looking to do something on a budget and have some thrift stores near you, this is a great challenge to watch, because playlist to watch, because people will do some amazing things with their thrift finds. So let's get flipping. So I got this planter at one of our thrift stores a while back. It looks like it has been painted. From what I can tell from the bottom, it looks like it was like a gold one, kind of like a brass planter. So I'm going to be kind of repurposing it for a Christmas type of planter. So what I'm doing is I'm going over top of it with some country gray, and that's what's going to be on the top and the bottom. And then in the middle, I'm going to be using a black paint. Now, the country gray that I'm using is the chalked Rust-Oleum country gray. You don't have to use this gray. You could use any kind of gray that you have, even if you have acrylic paint that you want to use up. You could use that too. You could use chalked paint, any kind of paint really that you have on hand. For the black paint, that's exactly what I did. I just used paint that I had on hand. Now, mind you, I think this paint was a little bit too old, so it gave me some trouble. You'll see a little bit later on, so make sure your paint's not old. So what I did was I used the grooves in the pot itself to guide me as to how far I wanted the gray and how far I wanted the black. You could use some painter's tape if you wanted to be really even, but what I wanted to do was galvanize it after, so I was okay if some of the black went over top of the gray. Now for the galvanizing, I'm not going to do a whole big tutorial because I've done those before, so I'll just link the videos up to the top here. But what I'm doing for the galvanizing is I'm taking blue, white, silver, and black, and I'm just dabbing on with this little dabber a little bit of that, like a little bit of each color, until I achieve the look that I'm going for. And this takes several times of going around, waiting for it to dry, and then going back over it. I do advise that you wait for it to dry, because sometimes you think that you're going to have to do another coat, but after it dries, you like the way it's dried, so save yourself some extra steps. But the key is to dab it on with something like this little dabber from the Dollar Tree, because if you try to brush it on or anything like that, it's not going to give you that galvanized look. At least that's what I found. So once I achieved the look that I was going for, I went ahead and I used my Cricut. I found a free SVG, and I'll link it to the description below, of a pickup truck design with a Christmas tree. So I printed that off. It did have Farm Fresh on it as well, and this is where that old paint became a problem. So I'll show you what I mean in a second. And quickly before I move on, my name is Vesna, and if you haven't been to my channel before, welcome. And if you're coming back, welcome back. On my channel, you can expect Dollar Tree DIYs, thrift flips, furniture painting, all of that kind of stuff. Everything I do, I try to do on a budget. So if that's the kind of stuff you like and you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can see new videos. I try to do 2 videos a week. That's my goal. I'm still trying to figure out working full time, having 2 little kids, and doing YouTube, because I'm fairly newish to YouTube. So I have not set a schedule yet, but I will in the new year for sure. Whenever I do Cricut stencils, I like to use vinyl, especially when it's like a curved project, like a piece like this. So what I'm using is this stenciling vinyl from Amazon. It actually turned out to be cheaper than the shelf liner at the Dollar Tree. Um, And the only reason I looked on Amazon was because Dollar Tree didn't have any of the clear shelf liner, and I've had a really hard time using the other ones as a stencil because I feel like they're not as stretchy as the clear one. So I'm just gonna apply it here, and I always use clear shelf liner then to as my transfer paper. And again, since they didn't have it at the Dollar Tree, I bought some on Amazon, which I think wound up being cheaper just because I bought such a big roll. And when I apply that on there, then I go ahead and I use my chalked linen white paint to dab on the parts that I want stenciled in. So what had happened was that my paint, it's not that the vinyl peeled it off, but my paint got actually like taken off, like it's not like little bits, but it kind of like peeled off like in one piece. So I think it's because the paint's really old. So anyway, maybe don't use an old paint. So I just wound up fixing everything with some acrylic paint. But again, so you're just dabbing on, and the reason I'm using these dabbers is because they bleed less than if you were to use a brush or anything like that. And this way you're just kind of pushing it in, and your design will kind of stay perfect. Now you want to make sure you let your paint on the stencil dry before you remove it, because if you remove it too soon, you risk the paint kind of bleeding again or smudging or anything like that. So you just want to have some patience and let it dry thoroughly before you remove that stencil. Now, another trick that I use when I am using the transfer paper, because it's quite strong, I always just kind of put it on my shirt a little bit and then stick it off so that it's not so sticky. It's just like a little trick that I learned. So here is me fixing up, because what happened was when I peeled off the vinyl, it took the black paint off together with the white paint. So I painted over what was left, and I'm just going to freehand farm fresh trees. But apparently I wanted to write 2 farms, so then I wound up fixing it. And I'm just using a paint marker to do this. And finally, once I got the writing to look exactly the way I wanted, it took a few tries. I had to fix that R that I tried to make an A. I let it dry, and then on the top, I wanted it to kind of have like a little bit of a bronze effect coming through. So at the top, I just went over it with some copper gilding wax that I got from Michael's. It's just a small little bottle. You don't need this. You could use, so I started off with these 2 colors, but it wasn't giving me that shiny look. But if you have, because you can buy like a copper acrylic paint, I've seen them, like it's a metallic acrylic paint, that would work too. I just didn't have any on hand. So after I put the combination of these 2 browns, it's the cashmere and espresso, I wound up using the gilding wax on here, and that worked really well. Now that little bottle, it was kind of pricey, but I think I got it at 50 or 40% off at Michael's, and I've had it for years. And I've used it on so many different projects because you don't need a lot, you just need very, very tiny bits. The reason I chose to the 2 acrylic paints weren't working was because they weren't metallic enough, and I wanted it to be more metallic, so that's why I wound up using this gilding copper. But like I said, if you find that silver metallic copper paint, um, it should work just as well as this. Maybe you'll need more of it than I did for this one, but it should work. And then after I applied it, I also just took a wet paper towel and I just wiped off the edges, just to kind of blend it in. Normally I use a wipe. I just didn't have any wipes down here, and I wanted to have it done. I didn't want to go upstairs to my son's room to get some because he was sleeping. So once this dried and I was happy with the amount of brown that it had, I am going to style this pot because I want it to be kind of like a tabletop Christmas tree holder. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill the inside with some different rags just so that they hold the tree in place. Now you could also use some floral foam if you had some on hand, and that would also hold the tree in place. I'm just going to shove this tree in between them, and I put some burlap at the top, and I'm really excited about this tree. I think it turned out so cute. I haven't decided what decor I'll put on it right now, but what will happen is on Christmas Day, my boys are really into Hot Wheels, so Santa will bring them a tree full of Hot Wheels. So I'll just buy some Hot Wheel cars and just hook them on the tree as ornaments. They'll be really happy with that, and that'll make me very happy too. So here it is, like I said, all finished. I think it turned out really cute. I love the farm fresh trees, the little pickup truck. I love how the galvanized turned out. And I think this pot cost me $2.50. I bought it a few years ago and it's just been sitting there and I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. So I finally decided that this was a great project. And I mean, I could always turn it around and have the other side be something else if I wanted to use it for a different season for something else, or I could put, a piece of burlap over top just for the summer or fall if I didn't want the pickup truck showing. So I love it. But anyway, if you really like it, make sure you give me that big thumbs up. Let me know what you think about it, and let me know what you think of the Hot Wheels idea. And make sure you check out the playlist, check out all the videos I'm recommending for you, and stay tuned for next week. I have a couple of Christmas DIY, Dollar Tree DIY videos coming out next week, so make sure you check those out as well. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day and stay safe everyone.